Hi, Capricorn Sun and Rising. Welcome to your December 2020 Astro Update. It's Raina here. And as I was compiling your list of transits for December, in your particular case, Capricorn, I would say the big news for you is the Sun going into your sign, and also Mercury the day before, because this is going to usher in your birthday season, your solar return, and it's a time of revitalization and planets coming into that first house and starting a whole new cycle. Because actually, the concentration of energy in Sag as the month begins and goes into the middle period is actually your 12th house, and that's the last house. So that's almost like finishing up a cycle and tying up loose ends, and it also has to do with a lot of kind of hibernation or contemplation, not an active house, not an area that is very gregarious or social, much more about solitude, contemplative. And so as December begins, the sun is already in this house. And the very first day of the month, Mercury goes into this 12th house. Mercury wants to communicate, but the 12th house isn't about having long conversations with other people. If anything, it's being in your own head. But talk about being in your head, this could be having kind of like prophetic thoughts. The 12th house can be mystical, but it can be a place of illusion. It can be a place of confusion and apprehension, even unexplained feelings of anxiety and things like that. Not to say that this is what is going to happen to you, of course, but just saying that it's not a clear-cut kind of an influence, because this is Neptune's house, and Neptune rules Pisces. So Pisces house, which is very nebulous. It can be great for inspirational ideas. If you are creative, if you're an artist or a mystic, then this is right up your alley. But a lot of Capricorns, and especially the sun, because the rising sign isn't your ultimate nature or personality in this lifetime, it's your image. It does play into who you are in this lifetime, but it's not the end all be all. But definitely for Sun in Capricorn, you like to keep things more grounded. You're an earth sign, and the 12th house is not practical. It's not, earth. It's water, and it's and it's mutable water. So it can be quite, any kind of communication can be distorted. So your thoughts aren't necessarily going to be very clear at this time, or your communication. So you have to, it's almost like having Mercury retrograde in a certain way, where you have to be very conscious of how you are not only communicating to other people and making sure that you are doing so in a linear fashion and not being all over the place, but also that you're not receiving information in a distorted way. Sometimes this can be colored by what you wish would happen. The 12th house can be fantasy, and it can make your mind act in that kind of a way. On the 14th, we have a solar eclipse here at 23 degrees of Sag. So a solar eclipse is a powerful new moon, and this is in a spiritual area. So it's very good for starting new spiritual practices, or perhaps exploring new spiritual places, contacting spiritual teachers and initiating something along these lines, maybe like a past life regression or something. But the point is that it can feel very strange, I think, to have a new moon in the 12th house, because it doesn't really feel like you're moving forward. It's in this last house. So as long as you can understand that progress isn't always made through doing things in the world, sometimes doing things internally can be very important in terms of advancing your life as well, then you will look at this time as being productive in its own way. On the 15th, Venus goes into this 12th house. Venus can bring money with her because she's the ruler of the 7th house, also love, obviously. Ruler of Libra's 7th house of committed partnership, but also the 2nd house of earned income under the sign of Taurus. So there's another earth house, the money that you earn and your possessions. And so there's a money connection to Venus as well as a love connection. In the 12th house, this could be some kind of, if it is profit, that is coming from something that you are doing. It's almost like a sacrifice that you're making for others that comes back to benefit you. So it's like good karma. So maybe, or even from kind of a hidden source. It's hard to explain, like a secret admirer. I don't know, but definitely in terms of speaking of secret admirers, this could be some kind of love situation that you're not wanting to share with the rest of the world. So whether you're just trying to keep a new dating situation to yourself, maybe you're coming off of a divorce and you don't want anyone judging you for, starting to date again, or you're a widow or widower and you just feel like you want to be more private about it. Or if you are stepping out on a marriage, maybe you're having an affair. And before anybody writes to me and says for me not to make light of infidelity, I'm not. I'm just saying what could be happening. So it's just basically wanting to keep a relationship secret. And it might be a new situation as opposed to something that has been going on for a long time. On the 17th, another thing too is meeting somebody that is like a soulmate. You feel that you've known them forever, or at least for many lifetimes. On the 17th, Saturn goes into Aquarius. And these are the transits that we have been waiting for a long time. Those of us who knew they were coming. Saturn briefly went into Aquarius back in March for a couple of months, and then retrograded back into Capricorn, into your sign, Capricorn. And even though you are ruled by Saturn, I'm curious how it has felt for you since early July, since Saturn went back into your sign. When it was retrograding, it may have been a bit frustrating, or you may have felt some kind of delay or slowdown, because since it's your ruler, it may have affected you, especially during the retrograde. And now that it's going back into to Aquarius for good, it is going to be in that second house. So that can have an effect on finances, but not necessarily in a bad way at all. There may be, especially for a sign like Capricorn, which tends to be very frugal, you're not the kind of person to feel like you're not able to do what you want to do if money is, if for some reason you are called to exercise more restraint financially. You're the kind of people who do this anyway, so it's not something that would feel, I'm looking for the word like confining. I can't think of the proper word. Whereas another more free spending sign might feel quite oppressed by it. I don't know how else to put it. And this is especially true because a couple of days later, Jupiter goes into Aquarius in the second house. And they can balance each other out in good ways. Jupiter can sometimes be excessive, and that can lead to waste. That can lead to over optimism. So if Jupiter was transiting through this house alone, you might be a little bit too eager to spend money thinking that there's more where that came from, and then being too indiscriminate. Although, I don't think that the average Capricorn sun or even rising sign would necessarily be like that. I think that that might be more true for somebody else who had Jupiter transiting through this house. But still, I think that, Saturn can sometimes be too conservative, too pessimistic about whatever situation is going on, to see the bright side of it. And so when it comes to money, we have to think about the law of attraction. We have to think about how we're coming into money. And although this is the house of the money that you earn, I have found in my own experience that even money that you get from others can come when it's in this particular area, when you have transits in this area, because it happened to me. But, the reason I think this is the case is because the Venus is the ruler of this house, and Venus is an attractor. So the idea of attracting wealth, attracting money, means that it can come from outer sources. So Jupiter here is very fortunate for that, whether it's a stroke of luck, whether it is multiple income streams that you develop within the next year that can take you into the future, because Saturn will be here beyond 2021, and Saturn can lay down foundations. If you take advantage of this transit, you can lay down foundations that serve you for years to come. And some of them could be passive sources of income. So I have a video. I just checked not too long ago that I had done one for your sign. So if you're interested in finding out more information about Jupiter and Saturn going through that second house, Capricorn, just search my channel, and there's an audio about it. On the 20th, Mercury goes into Capricorn. So here we have the beginning of these transits in your sign. Mercury in the first house is going to feel like a relief because you're going to feel more aligned with your message. And you might say, well, why do I need to have a message? Well, maybe you don't, but some people do. If you're looking for a job, you're going to be communicating with people, and they're going to be asking you about who you are, what you stand for, and so on and so forth. And when you can effectively communicate about who you are and what you're all about, this makes that more likely to happen because you're speaking in your own language. Every sign has its own language. And that's not to say that every sun in Capricorn has Mercury in Capricorn. I would imagine that a great many do, but not everyone does, because Mercury is very close to the sun, so it can't be too far away. But some, some Capricorns have Mercury in Sagittarius, and they're going to be more controversial, outspoken, and in your face. If you have Mercury in Capricorn and Sun in Capricorn, it will be more, you'll be more reserved, you'll be more traditional, and more by the book. Saturn, Capricorn really respects tradition and people who have earned their, expertise, and they don't trust just anybody and what they say. So anyway, that's happening. And then on the very next day, this is what I have been waiting for, the winter solstice. I just want to call it, since I'm in the northern hemisphere. And this is when, every year, it's not always on the 21st, but it is this year. I guess this is called the Yule, because it is the pagan version of Christmas. And this is when the sun goes into a cardinal sign, in this case, Capricorn, your sign. So this is your solar return in general. And on that very same day, we have Jupiter and Saturn forming a conjunction in Aquarius. And this is a very special event. And some people are saying this is the age of Aquarius, the dawning of the age of Aquarius. While we, all of those things are pronouncements. I mean, I hear all kinds of things. Oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be wonderful. I think that we still have to do our part to make our lives wonderful. I don't think it's just going to magically be wonderful. Although I will say that because Aquarius is the sign that is connected to humanity as a whole, that I do think it's very special at this particular juncture in our human journey. Because look at what we have dealt with in 2020. Something that those of us who are older, know that we've never had this happen before. And people who are in their 20s or younger, they're young enough where they might hold out for the possibility that this is something that happens every now and then. And those of us that are older than that know better. And we can observe when we can see what is really going on. We can see other things that are, springing up because of the initial so-called crisis, and how it leads to other actions taken on behalf of humanity, but not necessarily sanctioned by humanity. And so this is like the power of the people. And, is there some kind of special thing that's going to happen? Well, there are definitely energy readers who are approaching it not from an astrological point of view, but from other, their own messages that they have received, and you may have seen some of them. So definitely, check on that. Some people also have galactic, I don't know if you call it astrology or cosmology, that they are referring to. But I'm not well versed on that, so I can't comment on that. So anyway, that's going to be in your second house, that conjunction. So, suffice it to say, this is going to be an area where that is going to be highlighted for you. One of the areas, I should say, Capricorn, with Jupiter and Saturn. Also, Sagittarius, the 12th house, and the 6th house, where Gemini is for you. And then on the 29th, we have the full moon at 8 degrees of Cancer, which is your 7th house. Some of you will actually, maybe a lot of you will have it in your 6th house of work. So this could have more of an effect on your work life. Maybe it's a promotion. For some of you, you may leave a job. Maybe you feel like there's something that is the final straw, or you get laid off or something like that. Sometimes that happens at the end of the year, but I'm not saying that everybody's going to experience that. And some of you will have it in your 7th house, and the same thing can happen. Full moons bring things to a head. You could call it a crisis. You could call it a to the to the nth degree of something, and it can be emotional. Now, this will be emotional because it's in a water sign. So, if you observe full moons, you can sometimes really tell. I remember, my God, that that full moon in Scorpio, it was like, oh, well, actually, I think I'm thinking of the one in Taurus. Actually, was pretty intense for me. So maybe that isn't a good example because that's an earth sign. But water signs are emotional as it is. Cancer is ruled by the moon, so that one should be pretty emotional. For you, it's occurring, for some of you, it's going to occur in that 7th house. And that could mean that you are deciding to get married, that you are wanting to make the most of this relationship. Because people can be committed in a relationship and still not be living together or getting married. And so it could be the next step. But for some people, you may decide to call it quits. I think they said that a lot of people break up around Christmas or, in the holiday season. And I never found out why that is. I wonder if it has something to do with that they're spending more time together and they're driving each other crazy. I don't know. But remember that there are multiple possibilities. It's not just one, so don't freak out. And if you are somebody who is getting along with your partner, then that would be silly to worry about it. If you're somebody who has a good rapport with people at work, or you think you're doing a good job, then that isn't what's going to happen. You probably all get a promotion, or maybe nothing will really change. Remember that this is a general forecast, so we don't know if this will, affect you in a particular area. Especially if your sun sign is Capricorn, your rising sign can be anything, and that's a whole other situation. So, in any case, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. I have a sale going on through mid-December on all of my readings, so check out the link below to go to my page and see more information. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.